Good morning. Um, I hope everybody's doing good. I have noticed in the past couple of days some fundamental changes. Um, I noticed the other day that when I started having anxiety or started feeling that feeling in my stomach, that I didn't care. It was the strangest thing. And also, um, I've been thinking a lot about death, and it's a big thing. I lost my nephew, and it really turned all of our worlds upside down. And I realized in the past almost 2 years of this, it changed a lot in me, that I've always been super scared of everything. Um, my mom was very scared of everything. So the way I was raised, um, I ended up being very, very scared of everything. I kind of did that with my kids. They're not quite, I wasn't quite as bad as my mom. I tried to break free of that cycle. That So my kids weren't like that, but they see that in me, and it's been pointed out. Anyway, I have been working a lot on that. Try not to be afraid of death, and going through this, trying not to be afraid of the fear, um, really brings to light a lot of things. Um, your fear of anything, I've been really working on the not being afraid of that, because that seems to be a trigger. If you are not afraid of certain things, well, I shouldn't say that. I'm still trying to wake up. Anyway, I just was filled with peace the other day thinking about it, thinking that I know that there's more, and more than this. And I've been trying to come to peace with what happens to all of us. I don't know how much I should speak on the subject. I don't want to upset anybody, but been having to work on that. So anyway, I was watching a really good, I believe it was a video, and they were talking about some really interesting stuff. I'll have to try to find the guy so I can mention his name here, but they were talking about how we attach. My biggest takeaway from it was how we attach. We have a thought, but then it's what we attach to it that affects us negatively. You think about something, and then if a thought comes in your head and you have that thought, then you start attaching things to it, like stories or negative things, or when you should just, if you have that thought and you realize that you're attaching things to it, like negative things, you stop yourself right away. It's the stories that we make up after the thought. And what we really want to do is either attach good thoughts to good things, good thinking to the thought, or we want to stop the negative and just leave the thought right there. And so past couple days I've been doing that. Like if I have a feeling of anxiety, if I start attaching things to it, like fear-based things, thinking like, oh no, here it comes, you don't want to do that. You want to stop it. And I've been trying to stop it in its tracks. Like, okay, just leave it right there. It doesn't need to go any further than this. And it really seems to work. And you could do that enough times. Just leave it alone. Just say, okay, there's nothing to do. Just leave it. And you start, or you can attach positive thoughts to it. Like a good example was it starts to rain and you say, oh, there's the rain. And then your thinking starts to attach. You start to attach things to it. Oh, well, this will ruin my day. Or, oh, now it's going to rain and this is going to be gloomy. Or, you can start attaching the way our brain works. We start attaching things to it, negative things. You can attach good things to it. You can go back after that negative thought and you can say, well, it's a beautiful day. I can do something here inside. This is great. This is wonderful. Or I can take a walk in the rain, or there's so many positive things that you could attach to it. But that's really, really another way of rewiring your brain, which I really, really like. But anyway, I'm guessing that can be used for anything, not just anxiety. It can be used for depression. It can be used for just, I need to change the negative way that I think also because of the way that I was raised. So even if I wasn't having anxiety or anything like that, I would need to, I think if I heard that, I'd be like, well, I would totally like to put this into play because I really could use a change in the way that I think, to go, instead of going to the fear-based thing all the time. I would love to go to a more positive outlook. Not so much that, the fear. But I've been realizing the past couple days that it's just funny that when the adrenaline starts to slow down and not as bad, you start to become very rational. And I have been like, well, this fear, it's just fear. It's just a feeling, just like any other feeling. And when it starts to come over me, I'm like, okay, well, whatever. It's just an emotion. It's just a feeling for me. So, and then it just kind of just goes away. But just keep practicing the do nothing. Just do nothing when it comes. Just do nothing. That's where I started to climb out of this. That's when it started because I was floundering around, not knowing what to do. I would feel that and go into complete panic. Now, when I feel that, it's kind of like silly to me because I probably have felt that my whole life, that feeling. But that feeling, now that you had a panic attack, will trigger fear immediately. And it's like, it never triggered fear in me before. I'd have it and I'd just go on with my day. But now that you became acquainted with a panic attack, fear is the first thing that comes to mind. But that will change. You when you feel that, you like, now I'm just like, I feel it and I go, well, there it is. But and you want to, I realized the other day, I was like, I wanted to, like, I can't take this. I can't, then I thought, well, what do you want to do? You want to be the way that you were when you were having that 24/7 for a year? Or do you want to be like this? And I'm like, well, I want to be like this. I like this feeling way better. And there's nothing to freak out about. There's nothing to panic about. Just know that eventually you will have peace all day long. And eventually, it's just like with anything that is habit forming, eventually that feeling will not be intense. That feeling will be very, very back in the distance. And your habits, you'll form a new habit of feeling. And my cats, just know that it's very gradual and you'll get there. And I just wanted to hop on here, but I'm sorry, I'm not super good at this. I just want to let everyone know that this is possible. And the way that I did it was knowing knowing that acceptance wasn't some great, huge thing that I had to do. That acceptance was just showing your brain you're accepting it. You're teaching your brain something new. You're going, when this comes, this is acceptance. I'm just going to sit here and show my brain that I'm accepting it. I struggled with that for months and months about the acceptance thing. I know I talked about this before, but that was what started bringing me out of it, was knowing that the acceptance was just showing my brain something. I didn't have to do some crazy thing to accept, because for months I was struggling with that. I was like, how do I do this? How do I do this? And they're saying acceptance, acceptance, acceptance is a big word. But I was so confused. Acceptance to me was some blown up thing that I thought I could never do. And how are people doing it? And how are people accepting it? How are people doing that? I don't get it. But when I realized that acceptance was just showing your brain, just faking it till you make it, just showing your brain by just sitting, the doing nothing. What we're doing is we're just rewiring our brain. And once I started doing that, I started recovering like in leaps and bounds. I mean, I'm not completely 100% perfect, but I am slowly every day. There's something changes and I'm getting better and better. But I was stuck in the loop until I started practicing that. And it took a couple of months, but it's well worth it. It's well worth it getting your life back. Anyway, acceptance is not some big magical thing. It's just pretend like you're okay. Sit there when it happens, and when you feel that intense feeling, just sit there. That's the do nothing part. Do nothing, and actual acceptance will come. It's crazy how it works, but it does work. Okay, everybody, just keep practicing. Practice makes perfect. I hate that saying.